What's going on, guys? Cameron Vansco here at the Anchor Wizard, and today we're actually in my backyard, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a little assembly or excuse me, a disassembly and then assembly of the low profile kayak Anchor Wizard. So I'm basically gonna go through how to take it apart, how to put it back together, how to maintenance it a little bit, what tools you need, which you only really need 2 tools when taking the system apart. It's more of an organization process, but I'm gonna talk you guys through it. I'll do a little close-ups, and yeah, let's get right into it. Yo, welcome back, guys. Alrighty, so we're gonna get right into it. Got my Anchor Wizard in front of me. Got a couple tools. So basically, the only tools that you really need with this, you need a Phillips screwdriver. Look at this cute little doggy. Phillips screwdriver, and then a pair of snap ring pliers. Snap ring pliers, you'll see in a minute why. So let's get right into it, guys. I'm gonna show you how to take it apart real quick. So you got your Anchor Wizard right here. The first thing I would do is take the bottom piece off of it. So let's do that. So on the inside here, as you notice, loosen the system up, kind of pull the rope out, see a little bit of slack. So in here, guys, I don't know if you can see it real well, there's actually a gap in this spool. There's little notches. You line those notches up. You line those notches up with the tabs right here, and basically you're just gonna push that tab in, push down, and your bottom pops off just like that. Pretty simple on that part. Once you get the bottom off, you'd set that over to the side. Then we're gonna start the handle. So I like tighten the unit back up. Basically take your snap ring pliers, fit it right underneath here, underneath the black cap, kind of pull up, make sure you don't pop it right off. Pop it up like this. There we go, and then that exposes the snap ring right here, and that's where your snap ring pliers are gonna come in handy. So basically, very gently, you're gonna take that snap ring off.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
And you're gonna shoot it across the yard just like that. That's what you don't wanna do. Okay, but anyways, we're gonna keep going. So we got the handle here. You're just gonna take the handle now, you're just gonna turn it counterclockwise, and it's gonna pop right off just like that. Now your handle's off. Okay, now you're starting to get into the guts of the system a little bit. So the first thing you're gonna take off, basically the first thing you're gonna take off is you're gonna take off a washer, and it's a race washer. So it's thin, but this is how the system operates, and you're just gonna lay these out in front of you as you go. Then comes the bearing, and then comes, basically it's the exact same washer. It's the same size washer, it's the same washer. You're gonna take that off too. And then comes the Bellevue, which the Bellevue you might have to lift up a little bit, but the Bellevue washer, it's a coned washer. I don't know if you can see it in the video too well, but you always want the cone to go down. I'll show you that when we put it back together. All right, guys, so now the housing comes off. Sometimes this will happen to where there is a washer stuck to the bottom. That's okay, that's just grease holding it there. You're gonna take that. Yeah, I would always suggest taking your clevis off like I didn't do, because I build Anchor Wizards. Basically take your clevis off beforehand. There, now you got your housing. You might have your washer stuck to the bottom right there. Basically just tap it in your hand and the washer comes right out. It's the same washer as the first two we pull out. Kind of try to keep it separate over on the side right here. And then again, it's the same process, a little different. Then you got your bearing again. Got your bearing. Then you got another race. And then you got the brake pad washer, which is it's a ground washer, but it's thicker than the rest of them. So the thicker washer is gonna sit right on the brake pad, which again, I'll show you how to put it back together here in a few minutes. So. All right, then you have your brake pad, which basically clamps down on your spool, makes your spool a little bit easier to operate. All right, so a part that I haven't really did, especially in my last disassembly video, is actually taking the spindle out of it. So I'm gonna do that, and that's where your Phillips screwdriver comes in hand. So as you can see right here, there's 2 Phillips screws right here. You're just gonna take those out. They're not really big screws, and they're not hard to get out, and they're basically tapped right into the plastic. Like I said, they're not that big of a screw. This is fancy. Didn't know that did that. All right, guys, when you get that out, basically there you go. And you notice how it wants to pop up? That's because when you pull this off, there's a spring in here, and that's part of the drag. So that's what keeps your system from backlashing when it hits the bottom. So you're gonna take that cap off, then you have your spring, and then you're gonna kind of pick your, you're gonna push down on your hand just like this with a spindle, and it's gonna pop the rest of it up for you. Again, you're gonna push up with your hand, and it's gonna pop the rest of it out. Now you don't gotta go too far. Now you have your winged washer. These actually have tabs on them or wings on them. We call it the winged washer. Set that down. Then another brake pad, and then you can take your spool off. There's your spool, and then there's another brake pad in the mix right here. It's like that, and now your system is completely tore apart. So let me give you guys like a little bit of a close-up of everything of what's in this system. I'm gonna try to organize it the best way that I can. I'm gonna organize it the best way that I can for you. All right, guys, I'm gonna grab the camera right here. So as you can see, here, guys, these are all the components right here that go into our system. So again, you got your handle, you got your black cap on top, you got the 2 screws that go into the bottom here, you got your wing washer, your spring, your brake pad, your other brake pad, and your third brake pad. Then you have your grounded washer that sits right in the, basically right on the washers. Now you can't get the brake pads mixed up, so whatever brake pad goes first, it doesn't matter, they're the same thing. Then you got your washer, or your washer race. And then, so the reason these two actually, this washer and this washer, pinch on this washer. This one pinches in between these 2 washers. And the reason it does that is so that bearing can freely spin. In there, and it makes a lot less stress on there. And then you're doing the same thing right here on the top, but you have your Belleville washer, and your Belleville washer is very, very important. It's always coned down with that. And then you got your housing, your bottom cap, and your spool. So right now, guys, I'm gonna go back through. All right, let me put this down real quick. All right, guys, now I'm gonna go back through basically how to put it together, and I'm gonna start right from scratch. So right from scratch is you got your spindle here, you got your spindle right here. You're gonna take a brake pad. Now you can choose any brake pad. Like I said, all 3 of the brake pads are exactly the same. If you mix them up, it doesn't matter, it's okay. You're gonna take that brake pad, you're gonna slide it over the shaft, just like that. Then you're gonna take your spool, you're gonna drop it in your spool on the bottom side of the spool. So this is the bottom side of the spool. The opening right here, that's the bottom side of the spool. You're gonna take this, you're gonna drop that right inside. You're gonna take another brake pad, drop your brake pad. Then you're taking your winged washer. This is the winged washer right here. Take your winged washer, and there's tabs, so you can't mix it up. So the tabs are here, it'll fit right in between those tabs just like that, and it flops in there. Then you take your spring, set that over the shaft. Then you're gonna take your bottom cap right here. So the bottom cap, it's gonna set on there, but when you go to put you're gonna take these 2 screws, these 2 small screws, and I would first put the screws in there before you press down on it, and then get them lined up in the hole. So when they're all lined up, then you're gonna just basically hold down on it with your thumb, expose one of the screws so you can get into it. So you're basically then you're just gonna screw it back in. Take this, you're gonna screw it down. And don't screw this one all the way down. So don't screw this all the way down, because you wanna be able to give you a little bit of slack to put this one down. So when you get it down, all you gotta do is snug it. You don't have to over torque these, so don't get after them too much. So just a little snug, just like that. You're just gonna get a little snug. Perfect. So you got your spool together now. There's your spool with the drag. You just installed your drag. All right, so now we're gonna set the system down here in front of us. And next, you're gonna have a brake pad. You got your other brake pad. Like I said, you have 2 brake pads, or excuse me, you have 1 brake pad left. You're gonna take that last brake pad. You're gonna set it down on there. Now, you're gonna take your, basically, you're gonna take the ground brake pad washer. It's the thicker of all the washers, so it's gonna be the thickest washer you have. And you're gonna set that over top. Then you're gonna take a smaller, it's a thinner, and this is a race washer, race washer. You're gonna set that on there, and if it doesn't go all the way down, that's fine. Then you're gonna take one of your bearings, basically one of your bearing washers, so that's what your bearing washer looks like. You're gonna take that, you're gonna set that on top of it. Then you're gonna take another washer, so take another one of these washers, try to get the camera to look at it as best as possible. Set that over top of it. Now you have the inside of your system done. Now you're gonna take your housing here. So you're gonna take your housing, basically set it over top, feed the shaft through the bearing. It's in there. Now here's a pretty critical point, guys. One thing you got to keep track of with this Bellevue. So it's, like I said, it's a cone washer. You want that cone to go downwards, down into your system. And then you're gonna stick another washer, a bearing, another bearing. Then you're gonna stick the last washer on there. And you're gonna have to hold up with your hand like this, guys. Just basically hold your hand underneath it. So when you get all that completed, take your handle here. And like I said, guys, the best way, you push down on it, right on top of it like this, and turn it clockwise. And then you're just basically gonna thread it back onto the shaft. Once it gets tightened up, you'll feel it tighten up. And so here, we'll get it tightened up, just like that. It tightened up for me right there. All right, now what I like to do is kind of a little bit of a reverse, I guess. You're supposed to have your snap ring, but it went over there, so I don't think I'm gonna find it. Then you're gonna take, well, after you put your snap ring on, basically, you put your snap ring back on here with your snap ring pliers. Then you're gonna take your black cap here. So take your black cap, and you're gonna push it right back down on top of your system, right into that hole. And now it's all sealed up. You're gonna take, or first thing, this is one thing you guys actually, I'm glad I caught myself. So see how the rope's down here like this? Yeah, you're gonna have to basically, you're gonna wanna pull the rope. You're gonna take the rope out like this. You wanna pull the rope through the big hole here. So you wanna pull it out like this. You don't want it to get trapped underneath the spool or anything like that. Kind of like, I sort of already did that, but just like that, pull it out. That way the rope is out of the system like this. It's not wrapped in the bottom nor. Now you're gonna take your bottom piece, and you're gonna feel, you can feel it snap. It's gonna snap. It's gonna snap right back into these slots right here. So if you guys can see right here, it's gonna snap right back into these slots, just like this. And then there's another one on this side. It's gonna snap back in there. Then you're gonna loosen your handle up again. Take your rope out a little bit. And then most of the time when you get your system in the mail, you're gonna feed it through to the hole. So you're gonna take it just like this. And you're gonna feed it up through. If I can get it to do it right. And you can see it in the hole right here, so all we're gonna do is we're gonna grab it, pull it out. It's on there. Then you're gonna take your clevis, which this is a little different clevis than what comes in the system. It's our older one. Basically gonna tie it. Clevis is back on there. Then basically what I like to do, guys, is when you get your system up, you're just gonna kind of test it. Like you can feel it lock, so just like you can feel it lock up, and then just like that, it's locked up. If you guys have any questions on it, please comment below. I'm gonna try to do a couple more videos and explanation. If there's something that you think I missed, or is there something you guys think I missed in the operation, please let me know. I don't think I missed anything. Again, you want to put the snap ring on, but that kind of flew over into the abyss over there, so I'll try to find it here in a minute. But yeah, guys, if you have any questions at all about this, please let me know. We'll get you situated. That's basically how you can grease the unit. If you have any replacement parts or something like that, that's how you take the unit apart. That's how you put everything back together. And if you guys, again, if you have any more questions, please comment below. You're more than welcome to email me, call me anytime. We're located, and this is the cool stuff, guys. I'm gonna lean over here. That's our shop right there. Dun, dun, dun. I literally live that far from the shop. So if you need anything, let me know. I can get it for you. Shop, house, garage, shop. I can get it for you. But again, guys, thank you for watching. Have any questions, comment below. We'll get you taken care of. And again, guys, keep those lines tight. Stop yanking and start cranking.